Well, greetings and salutations, test takers. This is the Series 7 Guru coming to you from my off grid studio, getting our kicks on historic Route 66 with an explication request. If you have an explication request, you can send it to explicationrequest@guruexamprep.com. Here is today's explication request. Which of the following positions would be considered a covered option? Well, when we're talking about covered or uncovered options, we're always talking about a short option position. A short call where we have an obligation to sell the stock at the strike price. And what you need here is a margin clerk because, what we're talking about is you're going to have a margin call. If it's uncovered, you're going to have a margin call. Here you need the stock. And short put is an obligation to buy the stock. And so here you're going to need money to pay for the stock if you receive an assignment notice, right? If you get assigned the option, that means from the short perspective, you have to perform, right? So that's what that means. Now, if you're not covered, this is more of a, again, not testable on Series 7, but if you're a 9 or a Series 4, you should know that what I'm going to ask you for, if you don't have, you're not covered and you're short a call or put, is 20% of the market value plus the premium less the out of the money amount. Now, the reason I'm going to subtract that is if the contract's out of the money, it doesn't look like you're going to have to perform on the contract presently. And that would be the margin call for a naked option position. Anyways, let's look at this question. Which of the following positions would be considered a covered option? Meaning I'm not going to make you come up with 20% of the market value plus the premium less the out of the money amount. Now, we should have been able pretty quickly to know it's either going to be A here, let me get out my thing, or C, because we should know that this concept about covered or uncovered only applies to short options, right? This idea that you're going to have to perhaps come up with some money. So here, if I look at choice A, and it looks like the test taker may have misread this, this is an obligation to buy the stock. If there was an obligation to sell the stock, well, then I wouldn't have any problem with you because I'd say, oh, you have the stock in your account, but this is an obligation to buy the stock. So I'm going to want for that short put an obligation to buy more stock. You have the stock already, but you're not covered here. If it was a short call, the answer would be you'd be covered. But it's a short put. So I either want cash equal to the aggregate exercise price. That means, if it's a 50 put, you got $5,000 in your account, it covered, cash equal to the aggregate exercise price. Or I'm going to want 20% of the market value plus the premium less the out of the money amount for that short put. We should know there is no 20% covered or uncovered concept as it relates to long the option because you just pay for it. Your margin calls of the premium. All right, so that leaves us with choice C here. You have an obligation to buy the stock, but I see that you already have in your account the credit register, the credit balance from the short sale to pay for that stock. And so I'm not going to ask you for 20% of the market value plus the premium less the out of the money amount. That formula is not testable. And I actually think test prep vendors go way overboard on this concept of covered or uncovered as it relates to margin or options, short options. If you're a 9 or you're 4, then it becomes a little more of an issue. But here again, I'm not going to be concerned as a margin clerk because you do indeed have cash equal to the aggregate exercise price from the short sale, right? Remember when you sold the stock, you had to come with 100% plus 50, right? So if I sold short 1,000 shares at 40, I get 40 grand from selling the borrowed stock, plus I get the 20 grand I have to put up. That's $60,000 in cash. I get exercise. There's enough cash to pay for the stock. And remember, I need to buy the stock to give back to the person I borrowed it from. I have cash equal to the exercise from the credit balance from the short sale. So I wouldn't feel too bad about this as a test taker, this particular question. I don't think it's a big deal. But by way of review, this idea about covered or uncovered only applies to a short option position. So either a short call or short put. If you're short a call, you're covered. You have the stock. And again, if you don't have the stock, well, then I'm going to ask you for 20% of the market value plus the premium less the out of the money amount. So, covered call would be you have the stock to make delivery. Short put, again, the concept of uncovered relates to short option positions. I have an obligation to buy the stock and I need to come up with some money. So I either have the money in the account, cash equal to the accurate exercise price, which I do in this choice C here, right? Or again, I'm going to have to come with this 20%. Just for your own edification, it's another reason to do a credit spread. Because in a credit spread, what I'm going to ask you for is just the difference in the strikes, part of which is already there. Again, this concept is more of a 9-4 concept than it is an actually Series 7 concept. So if you tell me you missed your mark because you didn't know about uncovered options, I'm going to say, I don't know. Okay, well, remember, inch by inch, your exam's a cinch. Yard by yard, your exam is hard, and I'll see you for the next explication request.